Hi everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel of Get Set Law by IMS. I'm your mentor Sanjana Chauhan and today we'll start the discussion on CLAT 2023 English language section. Now again, this entire segment will be divided on the basis of the number of passages that were there in CLAT 2023 under the English language section, right? So in this particular video, we shall be discussing the first passage. Alright, having said that, let's now take a look at the first passage. Now this passage, here, the author is essentially referring to the experience of readership during the provincial era in India. Provincial in this case implies something that is not urbanized, countryside regions or maybe the very exterior of the country, right? So now let's start reading the passage. It says, I grew up in a small town not far from Kalimpong. In pre-liberalization India, everything arrived late, not just material things but also ideas. Magazines, old copies of Reader's Digest and National Geographic arrived late too, after the news had become stale by months or often years. So according to the author, in pre-liberalization India, everything arrived much later, as is generally not the case elsewhere, right? Now this temporal gap, temporal here implies time-based, alright? This temporal gap turned journalism into literature, news into legend, and historical events into something akin to plotless stories. Now here, essentially what the author is trying to emphasize is that in India during the provincial era, things arrived late. So for example, anything that might have originated today would have probably arrived in India a couple of years down the line, right? So everything there became quite old, right? But like those who knew no other life, okay, we accepted this as the norm and this was normalized. Everything was thought of as something very normal. The dearth or the paucity or lack of reading material in towns and villages in socialist India is hard to imagine. Again, and this is where we get to know what the word provincial does imply, right? So the lack of material in towns, villages in socialist India is hard to imagine. And it produced two categories of people. A, those who stopped reading after school or college, and those including children who read anything they could find. So, according to the author, he belonged from the second category. I read road signs with the enthusiasm that attaches to reading thrillers. When the itinerant kabadiwala, collector of papers, magazines and rejected things, visited our neighborhood, I rushed to the house where he was doing business. So far we can infer that the author had some appreciation for reading, right? He was very much inclined towards reading, and this is shown through various examples, anecdotal examples from his life back then. He bought things at unimaginably low prices from those who stopped having any use for them, and I rummaged through his stacks of old magazines. Sometimes on days when the business was good, he allowed me a couple of copies of Sports World magazine for free. I'd run home and, ignoring my mother's scolding, plunged right in consuming news about India's victory in the Benson and Hedges Cup. So far, everything is strictly narration, right? It's not like the author is really giving very potent pointers. And my understanding so far does suggest that what is to come, what is to form the main idea of the passage, will probably be given towards the culmination of the passage, all right? The author is essentially so far giving multiple examples that shows his interest in reading so far, all right? Now, let's proceed further. Two takeaways from these experiences have marked my understanding of the provincial reader's life. Now, here the author goes a bit into the analysis of what he thinks it implies, right? The sense of belatedness, right? Of everything coming late, and the desire for pleasure in language. Now, he further elaborates on belatedness, which is, speaking of belatedness, the awareness of having been born at the wrong time in history, of inventing things that had already been discovered elsewhere, far away, without our knowledge of cooperation, is a moment of epiphany and deep sadness. So it's not like the author really appreciates the fact that in provincial India, things arrived lately, right? It only aligned with his sadness about the issue. I remember a professor's choked voice narrating to me how all the arguments he'd made in his doctoral dissertation, written over many, many years of hard work, for there indeed was a time when PhDs were written over decades, had suddenly come to naught. Naught implies zero. It really resulted in nothing substantial, right? After the professor discovered that the work of C.W.E. Bixby pretty much, mentioned the same things. This, I realized as I grew older, was one of the characteristics of provincial life. Again, this is quite potent and information. That they were saying trite things. Trite essentially refers to things that have been used so much that it becomes very mundane, monotonous, or boring. Right? That they were saying trite things with the confidence of someone declaring them for the first time. Right? So everybody was pretty much under the assumption that things that they have discovered are really new, when in case it was not really a novelty for them. It had been discovered or used elsewhere much earlier, right? And this pretty much, talks about the feeling of sadness that the author nurses towards this, epiphany or realization. I therefore grew up surrounded by would-be Newtons who claim to have discovered gravity. Again, right? So again in the bracket, again implies that gravity had already been discovered much earlier, right? There's a deep sense of tragedy attending this sort of thing. Again, note the word tragedy. The sad embarrassment, we have another adjective or a keyword, of always arriving after the party is over, right? So this is a very metaphorical expression that the author uses to, elaborate on his, ideas here. And there's a harsh word for that sense of belatedness, which is also referred to as dated. What rescues it? So what kind of just, alleviates this feeling of sadness, these pangs of, embarrassment, is the unpredictability of these anachronistic discoveries. Anachronism means something which has not been, allotted the right time, right? Something which is not as per the time it's supposed to be. Unpredictability of these anachronistic discoveries, the randomness, and haphazardness involved in mapping connections among thoughts and ideas in a way that hasn't yet been professionalized. So the author is now ending the passage on a slightly more hopeful note, in that the feelings of embarrassment and sadness over the epiphany of thinking that everything is a novelty is not really all that bad, right? There are certain things that kind of rescues those feelings. Okay, so having said that, now let's take a look at the question here, right? So what use was the Kabadiwala waste picker to the author, right? The correct option here will be option B, and it's also clearly mentioned in the passage. But still, let's take a look at the other options in case we might find them conflicting. Option A says the Kabadiwala bought up all her magazines. Now, this cannot be inferred from the passage also because this is not given. So, option A is out. B, which is obviously the correct option, says that the Kabadiwala's stock of books and magazines were of interest to the author, else the author wouldn't have even, written quite a lengthy example on this. And the information does contain bits showing that the author, made use of multiple things that were, bought by Kabadiwala, right? So, B is the correct option here. C says the Kabadiwala was about to steal the author's magazines. This, again, is absolutely out of context. It's not mentioned. D says the author ordered books online, which the Kabadiwala delivered. Not given. Correct option will be option B for this particular question. Take a look at the next question. What, according to the author, is essential about the experience of being a provincial reader? The correct option for this question will be option C, which says accepting a temporal gap. I told you, right? Temporal here implies time. Accepting a temporal gap between what was current in the wider world and the time at which these arrived in the provincial location, right? Because in provincial India, things that arrived later were actually normalized. They started to be accepted as a norm. And this is what essentially is important about the experience of being a provincial leader. Now, when you look at option, it says belatedness in the sense of coming late for everything. These are the takeaways that the author mentions, but not the most important part that the author is trying to emphasize here. B says over-eagerness. So this is very vague. We can eliminate B as well. And option D cannot be the answer because we already have option C as the correct option. Right? Now, let's take a look at the next question. It talks about why did the author feel a sense of epiphany and deep sadness. It also has to do with the sense of belatedness that he really found embarrassment in the fact that people thought that, it was very normal to, talk about things that have already been discovered or originated elsewhere much later. So the correct option here would be option A. It says because the things that felt special and unique to the author were already established and accepted thought in the wider world, right? So this pretty much aligns with the discussion so far. Look at B. It says because the author was less well-read than others. This is not implied, hence out. C says because the author missed being in a big city. Again, this is not mentioned, hence out. Correct option will be option A. Take a look at the next question now. What does the word anachronistic as used in the passage mean? At the time of discussion, I did give you some information as to what the word implies. Now we already have options to back us up. So the correct option for this question here will be option C, connected with another time, pretty much aligning with the discussion we had on the meaning of the word, right? Rooted in a non-urban setting, that is not the meaning. Related to a Mofussil era, again not mentioned. Opposed to prevailing sensibilities is very extreme. Note that the word anachronistic also had the word chrono, which implies time. So an option which does mention time will help us more. And in that case, only option C refers to time. So option C is correct for this question. Next one. Which of the following options captures the meaning of the last sentence best? So when you take a look at the last sentence, you'd understand that the correct option will be option B. Even though the author feels dated in her access to intellectual ideas, her lack of metropolitan sophistication lets her engage with the ideas with some originality. You notice that the last statement, the author does mention, but there are certain things that rescues these feelings of sadness and embarrassment. And a couple of words were mentioned, the randomness of it all, the unpredictability of it all. Having said that, the correct option is option B because it really aligns with the discussion. Look at option A. It says, though the author feels provincial, she pretends to be from the metropolis. A very good way of solving most of the questions in English language section is that we should always eliminate the options which are absolutely wrong. That which is not given in the passage should not be chosen. Now, the word pretension here does not surface anywhere in the passage, hence option A is out. Option C says, though the author is aware of the limitedness of her knowledge, she is confident and can hold her own in a crowd. She is also proud of her roots in the small town. Again, look, there are a lot of, wrong statements mentioned in this option. The fact that the author is proud of her roots, not mentioned. Again, the fact that she can hold her own in a crowd cannot be implied. Hence, option C is also correct. Incorrect. Option B is the correct option for this question. Right? So, ultimately, make sure that you internalize the pointers that I've discussed in this particular session. Hope you find the discussion fruitful and helpful. Any comments would be appreciated. If you want more suggestions or, deeper insight into solving RCs, feel free to reach any of the mentors from the Get Set Law team. We as a team are mentioned on every social media platform. So thank you so much. Have a great day.